name is Farah Amira binti Saarani. My matric number is 2019672674.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nurkausa binti Muhammad Sabri. My matric number is 2019672694.
Records are defined as a document that has been created by a person or organization that are basically used in various transactions that happen in our life. So basically, there are two types of records, which are the manual and the electronic. However, since the technology in the world keeps changing from time to time, most of the records nowadays are in the electronic form, and it also being stored in the electronic management. However, the usage of the physical record is still reasonable. Both of those two types of record are important because they are completing each other in various sites. When we talk about electronic, there will be a digitization. Digitization comes from the phrase digital. According to the trusted sources, the term digital was defined as using a system of receiving and sending information as a series of the number 1 or 0. Meanwhile, the term digitizations means the process of changing the data into a digital form that can be easily read and processed by a computer. So basically, those two terms are completing to each other. In this sophisticated era, digital documents are the basic things and the most used format of document. This is applied to both private and public sector that are in the world. This is because nowadays, most of all the transactions that are being done are through the electronic, which require the digital important documents. The physical records that are in the public sector in Malaysia are being organized by using the manual that are being produced by the National Archive of Malaysia. It is a compulsory for the staff in the public sector to follow and use the manual as guidance when they are handling with the records. As for that situation, the National Archive of Malaysia also have implement the manual regarding the electronic records management in the public sector. Electronic records management is recognized to have a positive impact on the management of the organization that handling the records. Mostly, the development countries have developed electronic records management in their organization. But how did the public sector in Malaysia adapt with the changes? Is it a positive change or otherwise? So the problem that related to this issue is process of waiting for a record from the public sector is quite long. This situation always happens when there is a user that has to deal with the organization from the public sector and they have to wait for a long time. Supposedly, the customer do not have to wait for that long in retrieving the records. If the public sector have implemented the effective electronic records management. The next problem is the staff in the public sector might have no knowledge in handling electronic records management. This situation is happening because the staff have not been exposed to the changes. Besides that, this also is happening because some of the senior staff are having difficulty in adapting with the new implementation of electronic records management. As what we all know, the usage of electronic records management will require the usage of electronic devices such as personal computer, laptop, and etc. So, the staff senior might have difficulties in adapting with the new situation. In addition, the attitude of unwillingness to accept the new changes also lead to those problems. So, the research objective for this research proposal is to explore the current electronic record management practice in public sector. Number 2, to investigate on how far the public sector are accept on the implementation of the electronic record management. Number 3, to determine the reason why they are having difficulties in implement the electronic records management.
In research question, it is a question that a research project set out to answer into a specific concern or issue. There have three research questions of what we want to study. Firstly is what is the weaknesses of electronic record management practice in the public sector. Secondly is issue and challenges of electronic record, especially in public sector. Lastly, the impact of using electronic record among employee and organization. For scope and limitation of the study, the goal of the research to open people's eyes and raise awareness, particularly among workers about the implementation of electronic record management in the public sector. Electronic record management has long been used in any organization or institution to expose them to written record relevant to their organization. Besides that, there will be some concern with the usage of electronic record that some employees may be unaware of. Furthermore, there are a number of potential limitations in this research. The majority of the public sector in Malaysia does not provide sufficient training for its staff and lacks experience with how to correctly handle electronic record, resulting a bad in handling the record, and it will have a negative impact on their industry. For significance of the study, it divided into two, which is theoretical contribution and practical contribution. For theoretical contribution, the organization is able to manage and know how to handle any problem that is related to electronic record. It also can be part of material for researchers to know the problem, happen, or issue in the public sector in Malaysia. They also give awareness to other public sector on the implementation of electronic record in this developing country. For practical contribution, people or employees are able to practice in their organization through this research to improve their management in electronic record. The students also get to learn new things on how the public sector use electronic record that can be applied in future. And this study will be valuable to both current and future researchers. So we move to the chapter 2, which is literature review. This is very important part of this research study. It is needed to develop the research proposal. So from this part, we have specific detail and an explanation of the research proposal that has been conducted. In this chapter, it is consisting about conceptual framework and so on.
The conceptual framework for this proposal is: first, maintaining the authenticity of the trustworthy of electronic record. Number 2, impact of implement electronic records management towards worker and the organization of the public sector. Number 3, issue and challenge of implement the electronic records to the public sector. The first conceptual framework is about maintaining the authenticity of trustworthiness of electronic records. Electronic records are a form that are in the electronic format such as PDF and others. Basically, the PDF format is widely used by the people all around the world. Next, some in the public sector may have feelings of apprehension in the use of electronic records. This is because they are not able to adapt fully with the electronic record that being utilized in all public sector. Besides that, not everyone is comfortable in using it even if they already have known the organization have good protection in securing the records. So in this area, the organization itself should play an important role to make sure that the staff are able to use the electronic records in the most sufficient way.
Issues and challenges of implementing electronic record. Basically, using or managing something will have some issue and challenges. Same with electronic record in the public sector that need to be faced. According to one of the articles state about one of the challenges is lack of training. As a result, proper training to use electronic record provide job-related experience and abilities that can be applied to improve work performance and enhance skill. Different from other articles state that because of the low cost of electronic storage, people are less likely to manage their record. In addition, one of the issues is record whose lives have and are discarded. There is a large danger of cybersecurity incident and malware infection. Since we live in this modern era that use a lot of technology in our daily tasks, the employee and the organization itself already have to prepare the protection of their electronic record because they must have some issue when storing the data in electronic record in the workplace. To illustrate, use an antivirus software and any application to prevent virus attack. For research design, we plan to do quantitative design. This is because combining observational data and statistical, analytical, or numeric analysis of data will be obtained. Furthermore, quantitative research deals with obtaining data and analyzing it across groups of individuals or explaining a situation. So, that's why we choose quantitative design in our research proposal. For population and sampling in our research, we choose the employee from UiTM Puncak Perdana campus is one of the population that want to gather the information, and employee from University Malaysia Perlis or known as UNIMAP. From both of the respondents from UiTM and UNIMAP employee that have target around 50 respondents from UiTM and 50 from UNIMAP. From that, the total of the respondents that we gather is 100 survey will be received. Sampling in this research is random or probability sampling design. To explain, we use simple random sampling in this research is picked at random. For data analysis, the questionnaire for a study on implementation of electronic record management in the public sector in Malaysia will be divided into different sections of question, which is we want to divide it through 3 sections, which is A, B, and C. From the data analysis, it will be easy for people to determine or see a difference about the topic that we want to research and be able to solve the problem that happened. So the question that will be asked in online survey related with the topic. As you can see, this is our diagram about research process. The diagram shows about research timeline during research process of our research proposal start from February until June 2022.
The results that are being gained from the research is from the primary sources, which are from the staff of UiTM Puncak Perdana and the University Malaysia Perlis itself. So, the output that be gained in the research is a reliable and trustworthy source of information because it is direct from them. Besides that, this research also can show to us the actual scenario regarding the implementation of electronic record management in the public sector, especially in the learning institution. The private sector should be a method of their way of handling the records, but the public sector should follow and must follow the standard that has been set by the National Archive of Malaysia. Besides that, the research tool that be used in this research is a consistent, stable, predictable, and accurate. This is because the respondent cannot change the question unless the people who make the question, which is the researcher itself. So, this is one of the reasons why we choose to use the Google form in order to complete the research. Other than that, the respondent can start answering the question just by click on the link that is being shared. So this is easier the respondent to giving their answer.